Hi guys and welcome back to my channel, The Knowledge with Hisham. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about the jewel in the crown. No, not that jewel in the crown, the other jewel in the crown. So, let's get started. So before we go to our video, make sure that you subscribe this channel and like this video. So, what was the jewel in the crown? So actually, the jewel in the crown is for Britain. So what was the story of the jewel in the crown? So in today's video, I'm going to talk all about that. So it starts in the reign of Queen Victoria. So during her reign, Britain had set up an enormous empire, starting from Europe itself, passing through Africa and going to the Asia. It was a pretty big empire. So Britain had nearly conquered 1/4 of the whole world. Really amazing. But what happened after that? How did Britain, from ruling the 1/4 of the world, has been reduced to some few islands? So it all started after the both world wars. So after the both world wars, Britain was very weak. So because of the weakening of Britain, some countries managed to gain independence from Britain, like the subcontinent and other countries. So which country was the jewel in the crown? And as I said before, it's not really a jewel in the crown like Kohinoor own a crown. So it's actually a country. So which country previously was the jewel in the crown? Which country benefited Britain the most? Its answer is simple: the subcontinent. The subcontinent was the only country of the empire that, when conquered, it gave spices, diamonds, gold, jewelry, and many other resources that Britain needed for developing their economy. It was a pretty hard job to control over that, but they did. They used some pretty wise methods. Before we go to our story of the jewel in the crown, so there's another thing that we need to understand. So we know that 1/4 of the world was controlled by Britain at that time during the reign of Queen Victoria. So let's shine some more light on that. Not that one, the other one. So during the reign of Queen Victoria, over 450 million people were ruled by a single country, and they used many techniques so that they can ensure that all the countries remain under British rule. It was, as I said, very hard job, but still they completed it and failed. I'm not saying that they all failed, but some failed. So how did Britain actually control them? And they appointed Queen Victoria, especially appointed her own trusted men, which we know as viceroys. These viceroys ruled over the country by first they set up colonies. After setting up colonies, when they had made the establishment, they slowly accessed the land around them. So by this, they actually conquered that land they were staying on and trading. So in the end, the viceroy comes and attacks, and voila, the whole country is in their control now. So now coming to our topic, jewel in the crown. India was one of the biggest and richest possessions of Britain at that time, as first it had settled at Calcutta, and it slowly raised its population, meaning, so first it set up colonies by the permission of the king over there. So the king at that time was King Bahadur Shah Zafar, a very good king, Muslim, and a beautiful poet. He was a very good poet at his time, and he had the best teachers that could guide him. So we're going to the details slowly. So first, Britain set up its East India Company in Calcutta. Now, setting up this trading community meant that the native supplies from India can go to Britain, and mostly there were spices, diamonds, etc. India was approximately, I would say, 10 times greater than Britain. So by 1856, most of the land were conquered by Britain. Of course, there was some French, Portuguese, and Dutch trying to settle up on that area, but the English drive them out of the land. So they did not try to conquer the land again. So the English started to advance towards Delhi. They first had promised that if you do not attack us, the king Bahadur Shah Zafar, if you do not attack us, we will not attack you, and you will remain the king. But the king agreed. But the people, of course, they were not delighted to see the English conquering their lands, taking their lands slowly, and so they were frightened, and a little bit of anger led to a revolt. So the revolt of 1857, also known as Civil War, was a complete failure for the local people living there, the Hindus, the Muslims, and the Sikhs. So they completely failed just because of less resources, less planning, and not cooperating with each other. Because they were from different religious groups, they thought that no, we will act by ourselves. So that led to a complete failure. Now, because of this, the English were were very angry, and Bahadur Shah Zafar, because he was leading the revolt, he was leading the civil war. So they took him and killed him. But actually, it's a very long story that how they killed him and what happened to Bahadur Shah Zafar. So I'm just going to leave that for another day. After the revolt, the English had the people over there had no chance to revolt again. They were completely broken down. So what next did the English do? Well, the next step that the English did was that they made the viceroy a king, so that everybody would know the viceroy as king. So the first viceroy to be appointed, Lord Curzon, was the first person to rule India, also known as subcontinent. So how did Britain benefit by taking over India, or the subcontinent? Now, you know about three countries: Pakistan, India, and Bangladesh. These three joined first, was called the subcontinent. So let's leave the rest topic afterwards because it's gonna be long. So make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, and share, because sharing is caring. And bye bye.